What if I told you Nintendo's newest console might not be the upgrade you've been dreaming of? The Switch 2 hits shelves next month with a price tag that'll make your wallet sweat. But is it actually worth it? I've got all the details on the biggest gaming launch of 2025, including the one feature that might make you think twice before pre-ordering. The year is 2017. Nintendo has just released a revolutionary gaming device that would change how we play forever. A hybrid console that seamlessly transitions from your TV to your hands. Fast forward 8 years and Nintendo is about to drop what could be their most ambitious upgrade yet. But here's the thing, not everything about this new console is an improvement. In fact, there's one crucial feature where the Switch 2 actually takes a step backward from its predecessor. We'll get to that shocking detail in just a moment. First, let's take a journey through what makes the Switch 2 potentially worth that hefty $450 price tag that has gamers divided across the internet. When you first lay eyes on the Nintendo Switch 2, one thing immediately jumps out. This screen is serious business. We're talking about a massive upgrade from the original Switch's modest 6.2-inch 720p display to a gorgeous 7.9-inch LCD pushing 1080p resolution. But it's not just about size and pixels. The Switch 2 brings gaming into the modern era with a buttery smooth 120Hz refresh rate, HDR10 support, and variable refresh rate technology. What does this mean for you? Games will look stunning and emotion will be silky smooth, whether you're racing through Mario Kart World or exploring Hyrule in the next Zelda adventure. And when you dock this beauty to your TV, the original Switch maxed out at 1080p, but the Switch 2 will push up to 4K resolution at 60 frames per second. Or if you prefer smoothness over raw pixel count, you can opt for 1080p or 1440p at a blistering 120 frames per second. The Switch 2 leaves behind the aging Tegra X1 chip for a custom NVIDIA SoC that brings two game-changing technologies to Nintendo's hardware: ray tracing and AI capabilities. If you're not familiar with ray tracing, it's the technology that makes lighting, shadows, and reflections look dramatically more realistic. Games that support it will have a visual fidelity we've never seen in a Nintendo console before. This isn't just about prettier games, it's about new gameplay experiences that simply weren't possible on the original hardware. And with AI acceleration, we could see more intelligent enemies, better physics, and gameplay innovations we haven't even imagined yet. But now, let's address the elephant in the room. The feature that's actually worse than the original Switch, and the reason some early reviewers are hesitating to give this console their full endorsement. If you own one of the revised Switch models released after 2019, you've enjoyed battery life ranging from 4.5 to 9 hours of gameplay. Pretty impressive for a portable console, right? Well, the Switch 2, despite all its advancements, features a battery life of just 2 to 6.5 hours. Let that sink in. A brand new console in 2025 with worse battery performance than a model from 2019. This has raised eyebrows across the gaming community, with outlets like Eurogamer, Kotaku, and Tom's Guide all highlighting this as a significant drawback. As one Twitter user with over 100,000 views pointed out, they're asking us to pay $150 more for a console that dies faster? Make it make sense, Nintendo. The question is, do the other improvements make up for this regression? Before we answer that, let's look at what else the Switch 2 brings to the table. One area where Nintendo has clearly listened to feedback is storage. The original Switch launched with a paltry 32 gigabytes of internal storage, 64 gigabytes if you splurged for the OLED model. The Switch 2? A generous 256 gigabytes right out of the box. This means less time managing your game library and more time actually playing. No more deleting one game to make room for another, or buying expensive micro SD cards just to store a handful of titles. Then there are the controllers. The original Joy-Cons connected to the console via rails, a design that caused issues for many users as the connection wore down over time. The Switch 2 replaces this with magnetic Joy-Con, two controllers that snap into place with a satisfying click. But here's where it gets interesting. These new controllers feature mouse functionality for compatible games. Think about the possibilities this opens up for strategy games, point-and-click adventures, and creative applications. It's a small addition that could fundamentally change how certain genres play on a Nintendo device. Nintendo has traditionally lagged behind its competitors when it comes to online features, but the Switch 2 aims to change that narrative. The console introduces Game Chat for native voice communication. No more needing your phone and the Nintendo app just to talk to friends. There's also Game Share for easier game sharing between family members, and the virtual game card system, which streamlines digital game management. These quality-of-life improvements may not be as flashy as the hardware upgrades, but for daily users, they could make a world of difference. Let's talk numbers. The original Switch launched in 2017 at $299. The Switch 2 will set you back $450, or $500 if you opt for the bundle with Mario Kart World. That's a significant jump, especially when you factor in the battery life regression we discussed earlier. Is Nintendo asking too much, or does the combination of a larger 1080p 120Hz display, 4K docking capabilities, ray tracing, and expanded storage justify the premium? The answer, as with most things in gaming, depends on your personal circumstances and what you value most in a console. If you're new to the Nintendo ecosystem, the Switch 2 is undoubtedly the way to go. It will be the platform for all future Nintendo games, and the hardware improvements mean you'll be experiencing these titles as they were meant to be played. But what if you already own a Switch? This is where the decision gets more complicated. If you primarily play in handheld mode and value battery life above all else, you might want to hold on to your revised Switch or OLED model. 6.5 hours maximum versus 9 hours is a meaningful difference for long gaming sessions on the go. However, if you're a visual enthusiast who plays mostly docked, the 4K output and ray tracing capabilities make the Switch 2 a compelling upgrade. Similarly, if you found yourself constantly managing storage or frustrated by Joy-Con connection issues, the quality of life improvements alone might be worth the investment. There's also the question of game compatibility. While Nintendo has confirmed backward compatibility with most Switch games, they've been careful not to promise universal support. This means some titles from your existing library might not work perfectly, or at all, on the new hardware. So, is the Nintendo Switch 2 an evolution or a revolution? The answer lies somewhere in between. It's not the quantum leap forward that the original Switch was compared to the Wii U. The core concept remains unchanged, a hybrid console that works both docked and handheld. In that sense, it's evolutionary. But the technical improvements, the larger high refresh rate screen, the 4K output, the ray tracing capabilities, the magnetic controllers with mouse functionality, push it into revolutionary territory for Nintendo hardware. The battery life regression is undeniably disappointing and feels like a step backward in 2025, especially at the $450 price point. But for many, the trade-off will be worth it for the enhanced gaming experience in every other area. Ultimately, the Switch 2 represents Nintendo's vision for the future of gaming. One where visual fidelity and technical capabilities matter, but not at the expense of unique gameplay experiences and innovative control methods. As June 5th approaches and the Switch 2 hits store shelves, gamers will have to decide for themselves, is this new direction worth the investment? And more importantly, is it worth the shorter battery life? Whatever you decide, one thing is certain. Nintendo continues to forge its own path in the gaming industry, for better or worse. And regardless of its flaws, the Switch 2 promises to be home to the next generation of gaming experiences that only Nintendo can create. Will you be picking one up at launch? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for my hands-on review when the console releases next month. Until then, keep gaming. Thanks for watching this breakdown of the Nintendo Switch 2. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe for more gaming news and analysis. The comment section is open. I want to hear your thoughts on Nintendo's newest console. Is the battery life a deal breaker, or are you sold on the other improvements? Let me know below.